Okay, so I have gone through the steps. We showed you previously the simple dilution that was step 1, and I've done steps 2 through 7. So steps 2 through 7, we're putting in alkali into these separate solutions, 4 through 2, and I've also put 3 cubic centimeters of each of these solutions into these pre-labeled test tubes, 4 through 2, and I have put the 3 cubic centimeters of each into here. I've also put drops of phenolphthalein using the pipette into each of these. They have turned these different shades of pink. Don't worry, it's okay that they're different shades. That's fine. If you come across in a lab that you put the same drops of indicator into a solution and they come out different shades, don't go crazy. It's all right. Sometimes that's supposed to happen. Don't think that you did something wrong. Now, because even then, remember, in number 4, in step 4, it even says, note that each of the concentrations might not be the same shade of pink. It even says that specifically so that you don't freak out and start saying, I've done something wrong, oh God, what have I wrought upon this earth? So don't freak out. It's supposed to happen. Whenever you see a parentheses and a warning, it might not be the same shade. It won't be the same shade, and it's okay. All right? So setting up the water bath over here, I have here my hot water, my cold water, and my empty beaker. Now, I'm going to show you how to maintain a water bath. That is a skill that can be utilized during the Cambridge exam when you don't have, when you don't have a water bath set up. Your job is going to be to maintain that water bath between 45 and 50 degrees Celsius. The water that you start with is going to be between 60 and 65 degrees, and tap water, which is 20 to 22 degrees Celsius, typically, in a typical laboratory setup. The empty beaker is going to be for your water bath itself. Now, put the test tubes in step 4 into the water bath for 5 minutes. Now, I've also done step 7 here, 3 cubic centimeters of M into the test tube as a standard to help me recognize the endpoint. This is the color that everything should turn at the end of my timing. Now, I'm going to show you how to standardize this setup. So I'm going to move this all to the side and set up this station. So this is around 60 centigrade. So I can hold this with my hands without burning myself. Now, always keep your, if you have something on a hot plate, always keep your thermometer on that thing so you know what temperature it is. If it is too hot, don't touch it. I repeat, do not touch things that are too hot or you will burn yourself. That is super important, not to burn yourself. Do not burn yourself. Do not burn yourself. Do not burn yourself. Okay, so I'm going to take my thermometer out because I know what temperature this is. I'm going to put it into the empty beaker. Now, I want some room in my empty beaker, in my hot water bath, but I want to start with the hot water first. All right? I want my hot water to be the majority of my temperature. All right? I want that to be the majority. I want to keep some of this hot water in reserve. So I want that to be the main part of my hot water bath. Now, if I'm not ready yet, if I'm not ready to start, then I absolutely am just going to leave the hot water alone. All right? And then I'm going to put my hot water bath to keep it warm. So if I'm not ready to start yet, I'm going to leave it here and keep it warm. Because this is sitting on a cool table right now, it has actually already started to cool down, and now it's about 50. it says I want to keep things between 45 and 50. If I just waited, I'd be okay. But I'm not going to just wait. I have cold water here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my eye on the thermometer, and I'm going to drip cold water in, a tap at a time, and wait. And I'm going to watch that temperature inch down. I'm going to watch it like a hawk. And now it's 50. Once it hits 50, I'm done. I don't touch it anymore. I'm going to throw everything in there. I'm going to throw the 5, the 2, 3, and the 4. And I'm going to start my timer for 5 minutes, just like it says. And when it says to leave them in there for 5 minutes, I'm not going to walk away, because it says to leave them for 5 minutes at 45 to 50 degrees Celsius. Because it says to leave them for 45 to 50 degrees Celsius, I can't let that temperature dip below 45. I have to keep it there. So my job is to maintain that temperature between 45 and 50 degrees. I have to keep it hot. I have to keep adding that 45. I have to keep adding that hot water and keep it up near the top of 50. I have to keep adding that hot water and make sure it stays at near the 50 mark for as long as I have to. Now, what if the hot water bath gets too full? If the hot water bath gets too full for very long, the problem that I'm going to come across is I'm going to actually let that heat up for longer, and I'm actually going to fill this. I'm going to let this heat up real high to maintain that high temperature, because I'm going to run out of hot water to refill that with. But I'm going to let this dip down for a while. Now, the problem I'm going to run into if this gets too full is this is going to, I'm not going to be able to fill it with more hot water. If that happens, I have a syringe. I can use this syringe to siphon off some of this water. Now, I'm not going to waste this water. I'm not going to waste this water. Wasting this water is a bad idea, because this water is already of a certain temperature. I can put this water back in here. Because this water is already warm, why would I waste this warm water? That warm water is going to keep my temperature up. So this warm water is going to keep my value of warm water and make sure that I can maintain this warm water for a lot longer. I'm going to maintain this hot water temperature for a while longer. I'm not going to waste this. I have cold water, and I have a ready supply of cold water if my lab is equipped with tap water. All right? And my job is to make sure this doesn't dip below 45 for very long. Now, in most lab situations, in most lab exam situations, they will allow you to request more hot water from your lab supervisor. In most situations, they will allow that. But it is better if you don't. It is better if you avoid that, because if you ever are in a situation where you have a limited supply and everybody is asking for hot water, then making sure that there isn't a run on the hot water will keep everyone from going crazy. All right, so that, let's see if that warms things up. All right, that maintained the temperature. That actually warms it up by a couple of degrees, so I'm going to keep that warmer. I'm going to keep that warmer, actually. I'll let that heat up. Now, I've still got a couple more minutes to go. All right, and we're just going to cut here as I make sure that this temperature is maintained.